I'm in Shenandoah National Park. I'm way down in the very southern end of the park today. This is Turk Gap. Here's the parking lot. It's a nice parking lot here. This is mile marker 94. That's Skyline Drive down there. And a bunch of trails come together here. The Appalachian Trail crosses here. And there on the other side of Skyline Drive is Turk Mountain. So I'm going to start out over there on the other side and see if I can find the Turk Mountain Trail, which takes me to the summit of Turk Mountain. There's supposed to be a nice view from the top there, and then after that come back here and may hike on this side down to the Moormans River. But let's get started here. The elevation is 2625. Okay, I crossed over Skyline Drive. There's Skyline Drive up there. The parking lot's on the other side. So I crossed over Skyline Drive. This is the Appalachian Trail. You can see the white blaze there. And it's heading southbound, so I'm going to follow this and should be able to find the Turk Mountain Trail down here about 2/10 of a mile. So let's see what happens. 3/10 of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 2680. And here's where I came from, along the Appalachian Trail. I was hiking southbound, and here's the turnoff for Turk Mountain Trail. The AT continues straight ahead, but we're going to turn to the right onto this Blue Blaze Trail. It's about a mile from here up to the summit. .4 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2960, and this is the summit of Turk Mountain. There's a big rock outcropping here that I'm standing on. That's a look to the north, back where I came from along Skyline Drive. There's a look to the west, over this way. Down here in the valley is this small village of Crymora, Virginia. The only thing I could find of note with Crymora was down here in these foothills, there used to be an open pit manganese mine that was open from the 1860s all the way up into the 1940s, late 1940s. But the mines are closed now, and the open pits are have filled with water and become lakes. Anyway, here's a look to the west. It's starting to get hot today. Nice view from up here. And right over there is the absolute tippy top peak, but that's a little further to the east, so I figured this gives you the best view right here. I'm coming down off the summit now. I'm about 1/10 of a mile below the summit, and right here at a sharp bend in the trail, here's excuse me, here's where I came from. Down off the summit, down here, and when you get to this first sharp left-hand turn, if you look straight ahead, you'll see they built a rock cairn there, and they don't build them for nothing. And I'm looking over here to the right, and it looks kind of cleared out in here. So I'm going to wander over here real quick and just see if there's any potential campsites. It looks like there might be. Stand by. Yeah, so right up there along that little ridge is where the trail is. I came down here, and this would be perfect for hammock camping. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be, but be perfect for hammock camping. It's in the shade. There's no water, of course. You got to bring your own water up here. But like there's a spot there where a tree fell down. It's already kind of opened up. There's a pile of rocks right there, almost like somebody maybe thought about building a fire up here, an illegal fire. But anyway, this area right here, I'll mark it. It wouldn't be very good for a tent. You'd have a lot of work to do for a tent, but for a bivy sack or a hammock, this would be okay. .7 miles into my hike. I'm down off Turk Mountain now, back to the car here at Turk Gap. And I noticed on my Geological Survey map that if I hike the Appalachian Trail to the north this way for just maybe 1/10 of a mile, it's showing a survey benchmark up there. So I'm just going to hike up there real quick and see if I can find it. Okay, well, I searched for that benchmark, couldn't find it, even though I had a description of where it was, and I even had some approximate coordinates, but couldn't find it. There's lots of underbrush and blown down trees and stuff, which could be covering it up. So anyway, I'm back to the parking lot. There's Skyline Drive, and now I'm going to head off to the left here on Turk Branch Trail. It's about 2.5 miles down this trail, which looks like an old road to me. About 2.5 miles down to where this Turk Branch dumps into the South Fork of the Moormans River. So if things go according to plan, I'm gonna hike down to where this dumps into the Moormans River and maybe eat some food and then come back. .3 miles into my hike. I'm down to 2,026 feet. This is one of the feeders that goes into Turk Branch. There's the trail I came down on. It's been rerouted a little bit past the road. There's a section of the old road. Some of the trail is still part of the road and some of it isn't. This part here has been rerouted off the road just a little ways. And stopped here because there's another survey benchmark. I have data sheet on that one. The elevation of that data, or the elevation of that benchmark, is 2,026 feet. And the date on it is 1935. 4.8 miles into my hike. I'm down to 1,820 feet elevation. And here's another feeder stream that feeds into Turk Branch. You see a feeder stream right there. There's where I came from, down the side of the mountain on Turk Branch Road, the old road. And all these feeders combine into one stream called Turk Branch down here a little ways before I get down to the bottom. For now, I'm going to continue heading downhill on the old road. 5.1 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,710 feet elevation. Getting ready to cross Turk Branch again. That's looking upstream. This looks kind of dangerous right here, really slippery trying to cross there. I'm not so sure about that. And that's looking downstream. I may go down here where these rocks are piled up and try and cross over there, because this looks, well, I'll test it out and see how slippery it is, but it looks kind of slippery to me. About 5.2 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,630 feet elevation, and crossing Turk Branch again here. And here's a nice waterfall section and a couple of swimming holes. One there, here's another one right here. About 5.6 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,460 feet elevation, and finally reached my destination. There's a Turk Branch trail coming down the side of the mountain, and right here's Turk Branch coming down. And this trail here is the South Fork of the Moormans River Trail. And that direction takes you north to the Charlottesville Reservoir, about 2 miles to the Charlottesville Reservoir. And this way takes you south. The other way was north. This way, looking this way is south. And this way takes you up the side of the mountain up to Jarman Gap. And Turk Branch runs into the Moormans River down there just a little ways. So, and I see there's another survey benchmark right there. I'm going to sit there and eat some snacks and drink some water, and I'll get a picture of that benchmark also. This is Turk Mountain Overlook, elevation 2715. And there's the summit of Turk Mountain where I climbed earlier today. Here's a view to the west, looking towards Crymora. This is the Moormans River Overlook. Elevation 2975. Down there is the Charlottesville Reservoir. And there's my little red car. This is a map of today's hike. It's two quadrangle maps taped together. The upper part of the map is Crymora, 1997. That covers down to here, and then from here down is Waynesboro East, 1997. Now, you come in at off of US 33 at Swift Run Gap. That is a mile marker 65. Come south on Skyline Drive until this is mile marker 94, and just south of that you park right here at Turk Gap. The parking lot is over here on the east side, so when you're coming down from the north you just turn left into the parking lot. It's a fairly good sized parking lot, and there's a bunch of trails here at Turk Gap. There is a road that starts over here. Over here is Crymora, Virginia. There's a road right here that comes up the side of the mountain, crosses over at Turk Gap, and then continues on down the east side of the mountain down to the park boundary. You've also got a trail from here up to the summit of Turk Mountain over here on the west side. And you've also got the Appalachian Trail coming up through here, and it crosses Skyline Drive right here at Turk Gap and then continues on over here east of Skyline Drive to the north this way. So there's a lot going on here at Turk Gap. So what I did was I came down and parked over here just east of Skyline Drive. Then I picked up the Appalachian Trail southbound for a short distance until I found the Turk Mountain Trail, and then followed that on up to the summit of Turk Mountain, which is right here. There's a fairly large rock outcropping there, and it gives you a good view to the north and to the west. Okay, and then when I was coming down off the summit, right about here, just about a tenth of a mile below the summit, there is a decent hammock camping spot that I show in my video. It's not really very good for tents and so forth, but it'd be great for a bivy sack or a hammock. So anyway, I came back down to the parking lot, and then what I did was I took off along the Appalachian Trail northbound this way, looking for this benchmark here. It says BM 2646, that's benchmark, and the elevation is 2646. I looked for that. It's just off the AT, but I never did find it. So then I came back to the parking lot, and then I headed south on this Turk Branch Road, which is just an old part of this old road I just showed you. It comes down through here, and when you get down to a low enough elevation, down to about here, when you get down to about here, you're at a low enough elevation now that you're starting to see water. And so then eventually what you do is you just keep following this, and you'll be following Turk Branch down to here. Now that says benchmark, and the elevation is 1439. That's the benchmark I showed you down here at the bottom. And this is where Turk Branch dumps into the south fork of the Moormans River. And that flows downhill to the north, up this way a couple of miles, and eventually dumps into the Charlottesville Reservoir, which is over here to the east just a little bit. Okay, so I came down here and took a break, ate some power bars and things, and then this is a long climb back up the mountain, back up to my car here. Okay, and then I got in my car and I headed north back up here towards Swift Run Gap. And when you get up here, forget the mile marker, but when you get up to a certain mile marker, maybe 79 or 80, on the left-hand side of the road is the Loft Mountain Wayside, which is a nice wayside up there in the southern district here. You can stop there. They've got food, they've got souvenirs and things that you can buy if you're interested in that. I stopped for some food. The food's actually pretty good up there. It's kind of pricey, but there's nothing else around, so you got no choice if you want something to eat up there. Okay, and then I think I stopped at the Moormans River Overlook, which looks over here to the east, and you can see all the way down to the Charlottesville Reservoir. So I also got some shots of that. This is a nice hike. All these trails that I hiked were in excellent condition. This old fire road was in excellent condition. There's plenty of tree cover, and a dense tree cover is good for these old roads because it prevents tall grass from growing up, tall grass and weeds from growing up in the road. So this road was in really good condition. Oh, one other thing I should mention is maybe a couple tenths of a mile, let's say about here, before you get down here to the very bottom, Turk Branch, well, it's probably right here. Turk Branch has a nice waterfall and a couple of swimming holes right there. So, I mean, you could park at Turk Branch and come down here and swim in the swimming holes. Another way to get there would be to basically drive to Charlottesville over here to the east and come up to the Charlottesville Reservoir and then get on this Moormans River trail, which is also a road, and hike up here and then come up Turk Branch Trail to the waterfall here. So that'd be another way to get there. But overall, it was a nice hike. My only complaint about the hike was that it got really hot, like up to about 97 degrees or so, with just really high humidity. I think I heard on the radio that the feels like temperature was 110. So man, it was really hot. But anyway, very good hike. If you live anywhere near the southern district of Shenandoah Park, I don't, but if you live close by, down around Charlottesville area, Waynesboro, any place like that, this is a nice place to come hike. And that was the hike for today.